Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Kim with the Craft Space. Used to be Kim with Vintage Vikings, but I had some technological difficulties and started some new ventures this year. Thought that I would just start over instead of dealing with the stress over the holidays of trying to get the old account up and running. But hopefully I will be able to get some of those videos that were from there, my tutorials, and some of the flip throughs and some of the fun things that we did over there. I'm going to try to get those copied, and I will flood those back over here with some help, I'm sure. But in the meantime, I've started a new channel and some new big news of opening my own craft studio, art studio, but more of that to come later. So welcome back. I thank you so much for coming back, and it really means a lot to me that you are going to take a few minutes to spend some time looking at my creative process. So today we are going to work on some journal flip throughs. Well, actually just one journal flip through for today, and then we'll do the December daily at the end. I'll show you what I went ahead and did this morning. I find that if I get up first thing in the morning and before the dogs get going and the coffee gets started and all of the busyness of the day starts, is when I have time to focus and do my December daily, which I know we talked about before, and we'll talk a little bit more at the end, but I will show you what I did for today's spread or layout. But in the meantime, I'm going to do a quick little flip through of a journal. I'm trying to get a bunch of things listed on my Etsy shop now that all of my craft fairs are over and done with, and all of those journals are out. I always hate going through all the process of doing flip throughs for my Etsy shop when then they sell and I have to just take them down. So I just now have decided that for the month of November or October, November, during the craft fair season, that I would just wait until those were done, and then whatever didn't sell there, I would go ahead and list on my Etsy shop for the remainder of December. And I had just a couple of them left, and so I thought I would do those flip throughs with you here, because then I can transfer them to Etsy and we'll finish up with a December daily. So let's get started. And this shows you that I'm not very technologically savvy, that I still just use a cut and paste sign until I can figure out how to make a cute little intro or something. Or maybe I won't, maybe I'll stick with the old-fashioned paper. So this is the one we're going to do today. It is a single signature hardbound journal, and all of the dimensions plus the signature page count and everything will be in the Etsy listing if you're interested. But this is just to do a flip through so you can kind of see the pages and see what I did. So let's just get started here. Alrighty, so this journal is built on a 1947 local yearbook that I found at a thrift store, and I just thought it was perfect for Christmas. It was a great size, and had a little bit of local kind of mojo culture with it today, and I liked the fact that it was green. So I used some texture ribbon, and what I did was I went ahead and I really liked this creamy printed ribbon, so I went ahead and took the wire out of the ribbon so that it was a little bit more flexible and a little softer to the touch. And it is just completely removable. As you can see, you can set it aside. This one does not have a dangle in it because it has this little fringe along the top here. So I purposely did not put a dangle or a fringe along the side. I did, however, I did paint it, and then I used gold embroidery floss. This is an old Christmas card, some textured paper. These are, instead of using brands, because this paper was very, very thick, I used, what are those called? Upholstery tacks. These are little upholstery tacks that I just put in, glued, and then snipped off. So let's open her up. Alrighty. Okay, so we have in the first page, and what I like to try to do with the first page is put a little, and I do this in most of my journals, I do this journal belongs to, some sort of a little pocket, and then I've got about 4 different, what do you do with a junk journal type papers that go into the front. So if this is a gift to somebody that does not know what a junk journal is, you can give this to them, and it's a little explanation. So I try to include one of those in each journal, but I don't want to attach it because then you can take it out as you see fit. And if you want this to be a little bit more, you can always flip it around this way, and then that would stick out a little bit on that side. My journals that I put on Etsy are usually a little bit more tame or a little more color coded, a little more, and I need to change that. I'm very focused on how neat my junk journals are, which I think defeats the purpose a little bit. Tag, some crinkly vellum paper as the front page. I thought that was neat. You can kind of see. And then a book page that I just embellished a little bit to give it a little texture, a little fun. This was a Christmas ribbons poem under here, and it was wonky on the page, so I just covered it up with a little bit of green writing paper, added a wreath from a Christmas card that coordinated, as you can see, kind of matchy-matchy with the first couple of pages in here. And I try to overall come up with a theme so everything flows through, but then I also try to make the page spreads open so when you are working in your journal, things kind of match a little bit and have some sort of a flow to them. If that's not the way you like to journal, that's completely great too. I just tend to do that when it's for somebody else and I don't really know who the recipient is going to be. A little Christmas tree tuck. Everyone can make a wreath. So this is a little bookmark. You can journal here. It's got a vintage to from tag in here. I thought it matched really nicely. These are back from the 70s. I think I found an old stash of them in my old Christmas stuff. Some tea-dyed graph paper. I thought the plaids all went together. And the nice thing about this journal is all of this ephemera can just be moved around wherever you would like it to be. Some writing space here. This is computer paper that I tea-dyed. And then if you see that candle on the little tag kind of flowed right into here. And this opens up into some journaling space. Again, some candles. This is an envelope that and I split it in half so that you can put a few little tidbits in here. I'm not going to take everything out. We'd be here forever to do that, but filled up this little half of an envelope and it had the candles on it, so I tried to continue the theme through a little. This is a little, sometimes I forget what I've done here. I tried to open this up like it was a four-fold, but instead this is a little skinny notebook. You can use it as lists over the holidays. You can put quotes in here. You can use it for whatever you would like, and it is attached on to, you can even rip these off and put them on your music paper so that it makes it so that you can write on your music paper. Again, it's not knowing who it's intended for. You never know if the person is more glue heavy, they like to just put things and bits and pieces in, or if they like to write. So I try to make it good for either type. All right, we have on the back side of this page a little flip open and some journaling spots with a fun little sparkly tag. And this was just a nice little flip open, fun place to write, and trying to get a little bit more collage-y instead of being so one-dimensional, and using as much as I could find Christmas-wise. Again, nice little envelope, and this is from a Christmas book that it was basically falling apart, so I turned it into some little envelopes and goodies in here. There's some tags, little writing spaces, a little glitter, because who doesn't love glitter at the holidays, and a little Papa Bear in here, some other little tags you can write on the backs of all of these. And I usually don't like when my pictures go sideways like this, but it just I just really wanted to include this in here, and it was just way too skinny to put otherwise. So we're gonna get Christmas dinner on its side. A little Victorian sled with some journaling space. This is avocado dyed notebook paper, which I fell in love with how the color worked. We have a local Mexican restaurant that gives me avocado pits by the boxful, and they're all nice and dried for me and everything because they just toss them in, and then every month or so I go and pick them up. Coloring page that is tea dyed or coffee dyed. I never remember if they're which way I've done them. By the time I use them, I do them all ahead of time and then put them in my stash. So this is a little side pocket about Victorian Christmas. I tried to use some of the pages that had some of the interesting facts about the holidays, and a Christmas tree that looked a little vintage. And let's see here. Oh, that's all just one piece. That becomes one big tuck. And another writing space, which then, if you notice, I went from sort of muted colors into the brighter colors, and I try to, again, mix the theme to it. A blank page, some holly and ivy. This was from a holly and ivy book, and this is a little flip up, so you can write on that and write on this. And I'm not sure if this, oh, this does come out. So we have a little piece. This always reminds me of those little kid books that had the pulls and the slots and the slides and all the fun things. And as adults, we like that too. A little vintage Santa on here. This is some wrapping paper that I made into what was supposed to be one of those little, like a coin bag, but it was so flimsy that it just seemed like it was just going to not wear well with the with everything going in and out. So I turned it into a writing space, and it tucks in here. Little gold bauble, and another piece of writing paper because we're at the middle of the signature now. Little snowflake coloring page. This little charm right here is a vintage bingo chip that I poked a little hole in, added a bell, and I thought it would look nice as a side dangle. And just put some extra writing space in here, and wanted to make it coordinate a little bit so that I put this on the other side of the signature, you know, just for fun. This is a little scrappy notebook, and I don't know what was on the bottom here, but I didn't want what was down here. I think it was like mice or something. So I just cut and made a nice interesting bottom and turned it into a little notebook for lists or whatever you want to use it for. Again, the holly and ivy, which is the second page, added a little pocket right in the middle because you can't really write on this anyway. So I thought I would add some little blingy tags in here, which you can take out and put on gifts. You can use them for writing, but I thought it would look nice, little coordinating. Stuffed this little pocket full of little notebooks and little writing spaces and little clusters. And this is a little book, or not a book, a little gift tag that I used as a pocket. All right, and we're back to the bright. This I used when I punched out the different little poinsettias. I used the strip to make a little flip out. Some washi tape on the side, carried through with a little bit more of this this paper. I love this paper. It's just so traditional Christmas, winter, Yule. Cute little bird I put up there. And I think that's just sweet. I think that's out of a book page on a piece of file folder. And if you notice, the book kind of morphs in and out of different color palettes and has an overall theme to it. Thought this lime green paper was a little wild in here, but it seems to match. Here's the other half of that sideways page from the dinner page. Here it is, a little Victorian lady that I found. Some pink paper out of a book, seemed to coordinate. I love making bits and pieces for, maybe you can put your favorite choruses from your favorite Christmas carol on there and sing it while you're writing it. That would be fun. You can do whatever you would like here. Again, this is the other half of that envelope with some goodies inside. To from on here. You can write whatever you want, glue what you want. A little fabric, so it's a little piece of wool from another journal that sold at a craft sale, but I had that extra wool there and put a tassel on it. I just hand sewed it and then glued it down. Just was getting creative. I was watching a Christmas movie, I think in October, and just got creative and was playing a little bit. Went again with the plaids. I love a good Christmas plaid. Put some tags. Again, you can see just how symmetrical I tend to be, which I'm working on. I'm trying to branch out. And this year, with my December daily, I am working on a whole different style of junk journaling, which is a challenge for me, but we're going to show that in just a few minutes. And on the back was another set of pockets. And this was a poem, and I liked what this one was. This one went on the other half of that one that was in the front of the journal. And we're almost to the end. And then this page just has a tiny little Jack in the Box, finished off with a piece of vellum, which then he peeks through the vellum. And then I have this was, it says handmade by the Vintage Viking. I'm probably going to swap all of those out, but that's what I had made for all of the journals. So before I switched them all over, I forgot that I put those in there. So, and then there's the back page that matches with this front page. So, oh, that's kind of shiny. And there's a little bit of continuity there. And then the back has the little tassels as well. This is some trim from a curtain that I just snipped off. I used the curtain on a different journal, and then this was the bottom, and I used that. You can see there's a little bit of water damage on this old yearbook, but I still thought it had a lot of character, and I thought it looked pretty fun. So this is one that is going up in my Etsy shop, so thank you for flipping along with me so that I can upload that to help people see what's inside. I used to try to think that it needed to be more of a secret, and you could, when you bought it, then you got all the excitingness, but everybody wanted to see what was in it, and so I just went ahead and started doing videos for that. So anyway, here we are, we're almost done here, and I wanted to show you what I did in my December daily this morning on day 2 of my little December daily. And so if you can see, this is a little bit different. It's a little more eclectic. I used, this is the back of a coloring page that has my tea on it. Has my little tea, tea tab on it. And I'm going to put those all the way through this because I drink a lot of tea in the winter, because we try to keep our heat nice and low. And so we bundle up and drink a lot of hot beverages. So anyway, so this is my layout for my December daily for day 2. And I found this out of a sale paper. So there's my indicator that it's the second day. This is the Coca-Cola Santa that was on the top of that sale paper, because I guess Coke's on sale this week. And so I thought he would be perfect right here on this page. And it said candy cane and cookies on this page when I made it, and so I just added some extra little candy canes, some gingerbread cookies. There was something underneath here that I didn't really want on my page, so I covered it with a little gingerbread guy. These are some circle peppermints that I just punched out with a paper punch to add, to cover up, I think, some words up here for something that was on sale that I didn't need it to have on there. This paper, which we'll see when we get further into the journal, it is just a piece of computer paper that had a border on it. And because it didn't quite fit, the bottom doesn't have it, and I didn't like how it looked, so that's how I decided that this was going to be a little pocket, and that I was going to cover it with this Santa. So I guess today was a Santa theme that we put in here, and this was something that was sent to me in Happy Mail, and it had candy canes and gingerbread, which matched that, so I thought for sure. And then this was a card that I was at the library doing some photocopying today, and this was a bookmark that was sitting on the desk. They give out little free bookmarks that one of the librarians makes out of old Christmas cards. So I thought, oh, I'm going to add that since I was at the library, and picked that up, and it went with my theme today. So there is today's December daily, day 2, and it's a little bit different. So thank you for coming along with me today, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. And we'll do another quick journal flip through so I can pop that up on my Etsy shop, but then I can show you what I came up with for day 3 in my December daily. So let's just shut this for now. And I took my dangle off because when I wrote on it, and I will put it back on when I put my journal away, because it looks really cute when you set it all up. So have a great day, everybody. Thanks for coming back. And if you could do me a really great favor by liking this video and subscribing to this channel so that I can get a little bit more traction, it really would help me out a lot. And comment down below as to what you do with your December dailies. I read all of the comments and try to respond whenever there's one that needs a response. So thanks, everybody. Happy holidays. See you tomorrow. Bye.